Kenyon Lee is decommitted from the Dogs. This is not something that was super surprising, but a 2023 defensive back who plays at Cedar Grove. We got a chance to take a look at him the night before the Alabama Georgia game in Atlanta, and shorter guy, but really fast and all of it. But here's what Matt DeBerry had to say about this a couple of days ago, probably almost a week ago. He said it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Lee open things up down the road. He seems solid at the moment, but it's very early for guys in the 2023 class. Just takes a couple of visits elsewhere to get him rethinking things. And then Matt followed up with me soon thereafter saying, "Hey, there's plenty of really good cornerbacks in the 2023 class. Uh, I did this happened quicker than I thought it would." And I think the thing about recruiting in today's day and age is guys need to make sure they know where they're going. They're comfortable with things. We've seen some change for Georgia at defensive backs coach and generally speaking on the defensive side of the ball. So it's not surprising whenever guys reassess things. Lee says he's going to still take a look at um, Georgia as we move forward here, but Georgia's not going to have issues getting high level players, and it's just kind of the world that we're living in right now. But in the grand scheme of things, for the Dogs, I think running back is a major target spot to look at. Obviously, quarterback, you need to grab at least one every single cycle. Although the transfer portal has changed a lot of this, in not just in football, but in everything. I was talking with an assistant coach last night, and he laid out why the portal has become such a big deal. It's not surprising that it is a big deal, but he laid it out to me in a way that by the way, make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION. It's right down below. 80-page look at Georgia's national championship season. Like for instance, right here, one of the celebrations during the year. This one was at Florida, but it's not going to be in bookstores widely available. You're going to need to get it in the link down below. But the portal is one of those things that has really shifted recruiting on at the high school level. Now you can really recruit players from another school. I'm not suggesting Alabama did that with Jermaine Burton, but Jermaine Burton's a great example of if someone's not really happy where they're at, there you can always put feelers out there. The guys know each other. I mean, nobody's going to really hate a guy for transferring, I don't think. So, um, this is the world that we live in now, and it has ramifications down the line. For Lee, I don't know. Short, not no, excuse me, not real tall, okay, but can make plays on the ball for sure. And was this Georgia pushing him away? Not that I have heard, but you don't totally ever know with a decommitment. Well, sometimes you do know better some with than with others, but in this case, I'm not really aware that that was the case. And we're not done yet. I do think when you start looking at what Georgia's the transfer of things at Georgia here lately, you've got a new defensive coordinator, you got new defensive backs coach. The only thing that stayed steady on the defensive side of the ball is Kirby. I mean, Kirby and Trey Scott. So and Schumann. So there's been a lot of change lately, and you know it's just what it is. And decommitments are part of life in major college football. For Georgia, I mean, I got Keely's sitting here on the cover of this thing, and it took Keely a a good 18 months to get going as a DB at Georgia. And when you look at the situation for Georgia at defensive back, that's one of the spots coming into 22 that is not as nailed down, I don't think, as there's going to be transition on the defensive side of the ball. And the corners this past season, Ringo and Kendrick primarily, um, we're not we're not really challenged in the way that they might be in 22. So the play at DB is going to have to be better for Georgia this fall. because they're not going to have as much time. But I'll tell you this much: the DBs at Georgia have come to play, and you can tell. And with the exception of the game against Alabama, it was really tough to throw. The Alabama game in Atlanta, it was really tough to throw on Georgia. And often, particularly like for instance, like Clemson game, there was just zero separation. And Clemson's supposed to have really good wide receivers, and that's great. But if you don't have time, it doesn't matter. So you know that spot is a really competitive, challenging spot in today's SEC. It's hard to play corner in today's SEC. You're a lot more of football happens on edges now, whereas in the 80s and 90s you had much more between the tackles. There's a lot more spread now. There's a lot more throwing now. There's a lot of chicken fighting on the edge with these quick screen, but not a bubble screen, but just getting the ball out quick. And that is a staple of offenses. So you're going to have to be able to fight your way through the guy that you're supposed to be backpedaling to cover. I mean, it's a little bit more of a challenge than it was, when Kirby was playing DB. All right, hey, I got a phone call. Check out dogpost.com. Make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION. We'll see you over on the website. Thanks for watching.